So imagine if a random liberal YouTuber with a history of lies who supports an alleged pedo in office tried busting into daycares to film minor children without their parents or guardians present. And Brian here is making a joke regarding Nick Shirley because Nick Shirley is a right-wing YouTuber. But the point being, though, is that just imagine if the shoe were on the other foot, right? There's some lefty shows up at daycares and wants to film your children. How would you feel? And obviously, right, when Nick Shirley did the same thing, basically just some random dude, hey, can I come in your daycare and film your children? Of course they're going to say no. The same way you can't just show up unannounced at schools and say, hey, can I come film everything at the school or whatever, right? They don't let strangers in these kind of things, especially in today's U.S. environment where it's a major security risk, right? Letting strangers around children. I hope you guys understand this concept. Brian then goes on. He's been pushing back pretty hard against the whole Nick Shirley thing. Quote, Somali fraud is the new, quote, Haitians are eating our cats and dogs. It's all this racist putting forth racist dog whistles and trying to paint an entire group of people based off a single events or rumors of events. And that's exactly what Donald Trump and the White House is doing. So today they're tweeting out much of the fraud, Minnesota fraud up to 90% is caused by people that came to the country illegally from Somalia, right? So basically blame all fraud on immigrants and black and brown people. That's the White House plan, Elon Musk plan, etc. Right? Which is kind of crazy because, both Musk and Trump do all kinds of fraud. You guys know this if you follow the channel. You know exactly what we're talking about. Go down the list. I want to talk about Trump's meme coins. I want to talk about Trump's real estate stuff. I want to talk about Trump's hotels in various countries, right? It's all kinds of stuff. It's not hard to figure out, but, this is the world that we live in. Some people, look at some stuff and don't look at other stuff. I just look at all of it and show you what's going on. This is Brian. Brian says, to all random YouTube kids out there with no life experience, daycares lock their doors even when they are open so that kids don't run out and so that nutcases like Nick Shirley don't run in. Okay? Because Nick Shirley is trying to make the case that, they lock their doors, therefore they must be bad, right? It's just, misleading, of course. Daycares do not provide tours of the facilities when children are present. Calling a business, quote, fraud when they aren't is defamation. I'm sure there's going to be all sorts of lawsuits involved with this stuff. And then I guess Nick Shirley is trying to sell T-shirts. There's probably going to be some lawsuits, as I mentioned. The defamation case against Nick Shirley will be epic. He's selling $50 T-shirts to finance his grift using the logo of the company he is likely defaming. Now, evidently, I guess there's some sort of meme coin out there now. I think Nick Shirley is working with the Republican Party, right, and taking crypto stuff. So I guess it's called the Nick Shirley. It's a meme coin. Nick Shirley then also provides his Solana wallet. It's all right here. I can show you guys. I'm just saying because in this day and age you can actually look up stuff if you want. With that, and that's what's so strange for me. Like say on Elon Musk's platform is how quickly he can boost certain kinds of points of view where. If you're willing to take the time and just look up stuff, it's actually pretty easy to find. But, this is what they're saying here. To any billionaire reading this, if you want to save this country, start investing in and financially supporting independent content creators like Nick Shirley. Okay. I can't think of better ROI than paying an ambitious investigative journalist $20,000 a month to cover hundreds of blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I guess Nick's got his people to support him $20,000 a month and get a bunch of billionaires to do that. And then Nick's like, hey, here's my crypto wallet. Whatever. This is what I was mentioning before with the support of the Republican Party. Andrew writes, breaking NPR news reports that Minnesota House GOP leader Lisa DeMuth acknowledged the Republican Party's involvement in the Nick Shirley viral daycare video, saying, quote, we worked with Nick Shirley on this. That matters because the video has been widely framed as independent citizen journalists. Minnesota officials have said fraud investigations were already underway long before the video, and inspections have not backed up many of the claims made the specific daycare centers shown. So, and that's the thing I've noticed where people say, why doesn't this media talk about that? Why don't they talk about it? It's just this. Just because you can't read doesn't mean that people aren't covering it, right? I actually saw this story before as well. For me, it was just this regular fraud case like any other fraud case out there. Doesn't mean the whole group of people are doing it. And that was basically the gist that I got from it is that the Republicans are trying to make it like, oh, yes, it's everyone. It's 90% of the people, according to Trump. But it's just, yes, there was some fraud there. Is it everyone? No. Is it some people? Yes. And this is going to be with any group of population. There's going to be some people that are, you could call them bad apples, whatever you want to call it, you know? And just be honest about this stuff. And if you're really serious about fraud, you would want to fight fraud no matter who does it, you know? And so that's just my thoughts on this stuff. And this particular story, though, is being boosted, even though it's already been covered. And it's being boosted by, you can see, by the party, by crypto money, whatever. I showed you Nick Shirley's wallet. If you don't believe me, I literally just showed you. And anything in the world, you can like fact check for yourself. What I mean by the escalation, though, I guess there was a break-in or something that they're saying at the one of the daycares. And just listen a little bit here.
Yesterday morning, I was called by the owner because, unfortunately, someone came in to our daycare. The cleaner called the owner and told him what happened and the vandalism that happened. The owner called us. Me and another manager came into the scene around 6 a.m. We looked and saw what happened, and we saw that the suspect came in from the back, broke in from the back kitchen, and he also destroyed the wall to come in. As he came in, he broke a door from the wall from Family Dollar from the side. He couldn't, unfortunately, we don't know if that he went in or not, but we saw that it was damaged. As we walked around the daycare, we saw that our office doors was broken into as well. We saw that, unfortunately, there was important documentation, enrollment of the children, and also employee documentation that was gone. There were also checkbooks that were ripped from our check papers that were ripped from our book. This is devastating news, and we don't know why this is targeting our Somali community.
So you get the idea. It's just the violence is going to escalate. So you're going to get threats, you're going to get vandalism, these kind of things. It's happening to the Nick Shirley guy. He's saying he's getting threats. Also, that's what I was saying. It's just violence escalation all the way around. This is the USA. Listen to this one. I'm showing you both sides here. Take a look.
Have you gotten any threats? Like
Yeah,
actual
lots.
death threats?
Yeah, well, in person and also
Can you tell me
online.
about that? Like, are they
Well,
messaging you saying, we're going to get you? What are they saying to you?
yeah, like they're saying, oh, like kirked. You're gonna be kirked.
You're going to be kirked. That's what they're saying to
Yeah,
you.
like you're the next.
Bunch
You'll
of
be the next
dirtbags.
Kirk. And it's just like, are you kidding me? Because it's not even like I hate what's happening right now. Like I feel bad for my family, honestly, because it's like, yeah, like we didn't do anything wrong, and yet you guys are coming after me like I'm some sort of villain, right? So I'm like, my little sister's getting phone calls. I'm like, why are you guys doing this?
Your little sister's getting phone calls.
Yeah, from like the news. I'm like, okay, don't talk to my family. I mean, some news in India, they doxed my home, they doxed my dad, they doxed my.
And you'll go on and on and on. But it's interesting. So there's a couple things here. So one is I don't condone or endorse any threats, anyone, any violence by any side. Want to make sure that's really clear. Also, this is from Nick Shirley complaining that people are calling him and his family. But that part's kind of ironic because the dude literally shows up and is like trying to take photos and video of kids. So I hope you guys see the irony there. I don't think Nick Shirley does, but I mean, it's obvious here. He's complaining about people invading his privacy when he's trying to do the same thing to other people. But there's that. But I don't want anyone doing this to anyone. Let's be clear on that stuff. I'm just showing you guys what's all public here. But this is the environment of the USA. Here's more. David writes, there are now indications Nick Shirley did not find children at the Somali-run daycares in Minnesota because he went during hours of the day before and after the facilities were open. Perhaps Shirley doesn't know how to check websites or call to get daycare service hours. So if you're curious about the party involvement, also this is from The Hill. They report on all the political news. Minnesota House Speaker Lisa DeMuth said her caucus pointed conservative YouTuber Nick Shirley in the direction of daycare facilities in the state amid concerns of fraud, right? So they told them which ones to go. They might have even told them the hours. I don't know, but this is how this would go. Also, Andrew writes, Nick Shirley's viral daycare video is continuing to fall apart under basic scrutiny as people with actual subject matter knowledge slow it down and check public records, timelines, and footage. Key claims don't hold up. Locations framed as, quote, empty were closed at the time he showed up or operating outside the hours he filmed. In at least one case, security footage shows children arriving before and after his visit, directly contradicting the implication that no kids were ever there.
This is ABC Learning Center in Minneapolis.
They have to learn ABC and numbers.
Director Ahmed Hassan gave WCCO a tour after finding his daycare in the national spotlight.
All right, we've arrived to ABC Learning Center.
In a now viral video, right-wing YouTuber Nick Shirley claims nearly a dozen daycare centers in Minnesota are taking public funds but not providing a service. He says ABC Learning Center is one of them, knocking on the door in mid-December.
I would like to check a child in the daycare.
Hassan says his employee didn't respond because Shirley was in a group of about 8 people, and his staff were concerned about recent ICE activity.
Is this daycare committing fraud?
No, we're not committing fraud.
Hassan showed us security footage from the same day Shirley was here. According to the timestamps in the videos, this woman takes a young child into the center at around 9 a.m. that day, about 3 hours before Shirley arrives at the door closer to the street. Within the hour after Shirley leaves, a woman arrives at the other door with a stroller. A larger family heads inside a few hours later.
Anyway, you get the idea. It's it's always the same with this right-wing stuff. It reminds me of the my pillow things. And in fact, I'll show you this. I guess the Shirley dude, they're saying, hey, $100,000, it can prove me wrong. So the My Pillow guy did that before, $100,000 or whatever. Actually, it might have been $1 million if you can prove me wrong. Someone did. It was like a professor at MIT is like, yeah, I prove you wrong. And then the My Pillow guy didn't pay up, got sued, etc. We'll end up being the same thing with Nick Shirley. I'll just say, I'll show you. See for yourself.
Anyway. No, don't call any parents.
Anybody want to take me up? You $100,000 if you can. $100,000. You can disprove my information.
Okay, so give me a copy of what you have, and I can.
So that's what's going on. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Do you appreciate your time? And I'll catch you all in the next video.